Welcome to the Contractor Sales Academy podcast. I'm Tom. Steve and Derek are here. What's up, guys?
Yo.
I'm good.
Ooh.
We're all sitting in our home right now. Not our.
Tom didn't get it, Derek.
He didn't. He did not.
Oh, did you say you're good? You're good. You're good. Yeah. All right.
3 times.
Yeah.
Because I need confirmation and affirmation that you understood what I said.
Yeah. I caught it. I just kind of ignored it.
That's even worse. You're not supposed to tell me that stuff. I am sensitive.
Yeah, you are. Sure. So anyway, we got some cool things going on right now in the CSA and our bridge program. And at the time of this recording, we got the whole virus thing going in the economy, and there's a lot of fear in the air and this and that. And we were talking earlier on our team call today, just half an hour ago, about how, for those listening, we start our meeting with things that we're grateful for. We all go around and share something good that's happened in our business in the last week. And one of us shared just how, with everything going on in the world right now, we're starting to see so many other companies and consultants and this and that start banging the drum about, hey, it's time to do, phone estimates and FaceTime estimates and pictures and all this other stuff because people don't want you in the home. And we were just all kind of virtually high-fiving each other going, we've been ahead of the curve. We've been doing this for 6 years. And I'm just grateful we're in this position to where, and again, I am our own biggest fan, as you guys are. You have to be your own biggest fan or else you shouldn't be in business. And I don't think there's a better place for a contractor right now to learn how to really connect with people in this non-physical environment that we're now in. And we've been doing it for a long time. I'd say we're pretty damn good at it. And we've had tons of contractors come through and have game-changing results. We're seeing posts every day, guys. Right now, in the midst of this, a guy's closing $67,000 deals, from a couple pictures and getting it on the schedule for a month or month and a half from now. And a lot of things happening every day in the group, a lot of momentum. What are your thoughts on that, just before we get into the topic for today?
So I'll start, Derek, because I put a video out to all my customers and my customer wannabes. In other words, we capture a lot of emails and Facebook people, right? So those people that never bought from me got an email and it says something like, hey, I have something we've actually been doing for about 5 or 6 years now, and it's called the virtual consultation. You send me pictures of what you got, I'll call you up, and because I've been doing it 19 years, I can come up with daggone near an exact number for us to do this job. And if you like it, I'll take your payment electronically. And then I'll send the guys out. You don't even have to leave your house. We'll take care of all the stuff in your backyard. And then when you're done, I'll take your payment electronically also. So you don't have to touch anything or anybody. We've been doing this for 6 years. It's all the rage right now. But in this coronavirus age, this makes not just sense, but it seems like the only way to conduct business. That's what I sent out to everybody, okay? And our leads are still coming in. We still have these leads coming in. So the fact that we are 6 years ahead of the curve on this, and trust me, and as you'll find out from Derek coming up shortly, we have learned 6 years of nuances.
Yeah.
We're about to go over one of them today that might be hard for a lot of people to comprehend, but this is a very learned, and you can learn this technique, how to gain trust and confidence over the phone.
So I had an actual shinfu with a client today. I've had actually 3. 1, sold the job. 2, I just got they're looking for, they're just trying to figure out their budget. And as I'm on the phone with her, and this kind of is what you're saying, Steve, it seems so natural to me now to just be looking at my phone and she's on her phone. And I can even tell by her tonality, she felt so comfortable just talking about what we were going to do in her space. It was a 38-minute phone call. And at the very end of it, I said, what would you like to do next? Because we were only in step 1 and step 2. We did motive, we did money. And I didn't even transition to to the other 3 steps. I said, what would you like to do next? She said, thank you for your time. This was very informative. So now I know what things cost. But we talk about this at Shinfu all the time. This is what we do. But the difference for me today is I'm just on my phone. She and I were texting pictures back and forth. It's like, well, take a look at this. Take a look at this. And she was like, well, actually, I didn't give you a really good angle. Let me go out here and take another picture. I'll send you this angle. She's literally walking around her space and I'm talking to her, but it seemed so normal. It wasn't like this awkward new thing. So that's kind of a thing. You better get on it now so that it does seem comfortable, because it is going to be awkward at first. For her only to tell me, thank you for 38 minutes of your time because I'm not going to hire you, which was huge.
I'm just going to be blunt here. I'm going to toot our own horn. So if you're brand new to this concept, you are going to bumble and fumble for quite some time, to be honest, until you get as comfortable as what Derek was just talking about. If you come into our group, The Bridge, we will fast track you into exactly how to say, what to say, the tonality to use, and everything else you need to know, so you're not bumbling and fumbling like Mr. Magoo and hoping you just land a job. We know exactly what it takes to get the job. And Tom, if you're cool with it, I want to go off script. I can do this in under 2 minutes.
Go for it.
It's not our topic, but I got a call from a guy that I built the pond for him in 2006. I've talked to him maybe once or twice. Since then, we do no maintenance from him. So virtually for 14 years, I haven't really talked to this guy, but he remembers me. A bunch of raccoons messed up all the rocks around his pond, and he wants me to send a couple of guys out there and fix up all the rocks like it was new again. I'm like, Larry, I got to send 2-3 guys pretty much a day and fix it up. He says, yeah, let's do that. Come on out. I says, well, you sent me the pictures. I know your pond. I see what has to be done. And I got to tell you, it's going to be pricey, but I can do it. He goes, well, what are you talking about? I said, it's $6,000. He goes, no. Come out, take a look. You'll see it's not near that much. And I'll let you do whatever you want, Steve. Okay? I said, well, Larry, I'd like to share some top secret financial information about my company, if you're okay with that. And of course, everybody wants top secret shit. So he says, sure. I said, look, I got a couple of partners now, and several years back, we actually figured out exactly what it takes us to operate our business every day at break even before we even go out and make a penny, before we even send guys out. And that number in my case is $3,200. So we determined over 2 years ago that at a minimum cost, a minimum charge, I got to charge you $6,000. That's if you want me to keep my lights on. And that $3,200 is before the men come to your house. They use the trucks, they use the gas, they'll bring a few extra rocks, whatever they might need. And it doesn't even matter if they spend 4 hours, 6 hours, or 8 hours in your backyard. It's the same $3,200 to me, and it's going to be the same $6,000 to you. So if you want me to stay in the business, Larry, I got to charge you $6,000. Now, what you don't see is I'm shutting up.
Yeah.
Larry goes, Steve, that sounds fair. Let's do it. I says, great. Here's how it happens. Go get your credit card. I'm going to take $3,000 right now. The guys will come out there. You don't even have to go out in the backyard. They'll do everything. And when you're happy, we'll swipe your card for another $3,000. And I can't be there for at least a month. Is all that good with you? Yeah, I'm not in a hurry, and that works great. Here's my credit card. Boom. Had I not been practicing my ass off for 6 years, that never would have happened.
Yep.
It's Steve, but what you didn't say is you mentioned, you shared this with me before, is it's Larry, if we go over into day 2, it's going to be the same $6,000.
Yeah, I told him, yeah, if I go the next day, I'll be the same $6,000, but it's 4 hours of $6,000, it's 6 hours, $6,000, it's 8 hours, it's $6,000, Larry. Every
single time, which is crazy though, because that's where it takes practice for you to have the huge balls to actually say that.
And by the way, know your numbers, which is a foreign concept to most people in business.
Yes. Yes, it is.
So sorry about that, Tom, but thanks.
No, it's all good. And one other thing on this, there's always opportunity and hardship, right? You know, we got the virus, we have the economy, whatever, there's always opportunity. And here's one of the opportunities I want contractors to see, because guys, we've joked on here how many times where our biggest enemies of our process over the past 6 years have been contractors, right? It's been their own thinking. It's ourselves as a contractor. And so I just want to put this on everyone's radar. If there's ever going to be a time for you to learn this, it's now. But take it even a step further. More than ever, from this day forward, more than ever, the average consumer will begin to see this as the new normal. Okay? The virus, I think it was going that way no matter what, but I think the virus has accelerated that, and that's the opportunity, that's the benefit. So if you have any bullshit between your ears about how people don't want to send pictures, people want me, guys, it's going away. It's been being mandated by the virus. So take advantage and learn. Like Steve, you shared, you're going to bumble your way through this in the beginning. There's nobody better than our team on the planet of teaching contractors how to sell, how to connect with people over the phone, over pictures, over video, whatever you want to call it. So get your asses in our program. I'm telling you right now, to be blunt, it's the biggest bargain in the world for when it comes to training you as a salesperson, as a contractor, because of the opportunity. The one little nugget you're going to learn here and there is going to make you hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars over the next however long your career is.
So if you guys are cool, I want to bag today's topic, which we haven't even told them yet, so they're not going to miss it, and continue on with this line of thinking, because I got a couple of things to say about this, to just jump on what Tom's saying is that, do you know, and I'm not asking you guys, I'm asking our audience, do you know what the #1 detriment to every small business in America is? In fact, every small business in the world. The #1 detriment, it's the owner themselves, because the owner has the power to change, but even worse, they have the power to stay the same. So if you're doing the same old and getting the same old result, wow, that sounds like a saying I've heard somewhere before,
Yeah.
then you're nuts. Back probably 6 years ago, we wanted to hit 7, 8 years ago, we wanted to hit $1 million. We weren't $1 million business yet. And I knew the #1 thing that was holding us back from being $1 million was me, because I'm only closing 24% of shit in the backyard. I need a higher closure rate. So I need to go learn something different, which is how all this Shinfu stuff evolved. I decided I got to be the one to change. And I went out and did something about it. And that very first year, we went over $1 million. And 3 years later, we're at $1.5 million. And we've been kicking out $1.5 million for 3 years now, because I decided to get off my ass and change. I could have stayed the same, and we would have been at $918,000 today. But I didn't, so we're not.
It's what they call the bottleneck. We are the bottleneck of our company. The owner is the bottleneck. You got the bottle, you got the bulk of it, you got all your team, and then it narrows down right to the spout, and there you are.
So Steve and Derek, there's a lot of people that acknowledge that they're in the way. They know it, right? We've talked to these people in our programs before, like, I just can't seem to get out of my own way. Just can't seem to get over this mental hurdle, blah, blah, blah. What do you guys give them as maybe some practical habits to build, mindsets to embrace, whatever, to finally get past you being the bottleneck or the problem in the company? What do you got, Derek?
It's a feeling. If you feel comfortable, it's not a good thing. Until you literally feel yourself being uncomfortable, you're not growing. And I think this is the secret sauce, really. When we're motivated to do something, it's so easy. So easy. So think diet, think exercise, think relationship, any of that stuff. When you're into it, sales, business, digging in the field, painting, whatever it is, drywall, when you're into it, it is so easy. When you're not into it, this is the secret sauce, and you actually do it, that's where I see the people I listen to, you two guys that I admire immensely, you guys do the stuff when you don't want to.
Mm-hmm.
So that's really, I mean, that's a transition. We can share all this stuff with you because this is the podcast, but until you get into our bridge program where you're actually role playing with people, because that's the proving ground, that's the practice. We have all of this stuff and we can talk about it. So the mindset for me, excuse me, you have to be willing to go, okay, I've got to get uncomfortable. So I have to make that phone call. I have to swipe the card. I have to get in the group. I have to engage. I got to role play. I got to get on the phone with another dude and go back and forth and actually have a conversation. So for me, that's, if you're going to change, you have to just not be comfortable, and you have to feel it. Like you're going to jump cliff diving, for instance. That's what we did a lot when we were growing up. We'd go to these rock quarries, and you'd all stand there with your buddies, and you may or may not have been drinking. But when you're standing on that edge, oh man, heart's beating, freaking out. That's uncomfortable because you're about to do something different. You're going to take a leap of faith. So for me, that's the secret sauce, is getting uncomfortable and doing the things that you know you need to do when you just don't want to do it.
Every successful person has the same one thing in common, man. We have all jumped.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact of there may or may not be alcohol involved, let's just be honest, Derek, there's alcohol involved. So the other thing, bullshit. In college anywhere where alcohol wasn't involved, but I digress. But they've all jumped. You've always heard that expression about, let's just jump out of the airplane and we'll figure out the parachute on the way down. To some extent, everybody did that. And let me tell you something, folks. I'm 63, and that's where that's where the fun begins. At the very outer edge of your comfort zone, that's where all the good starts. If you're going to stay inside this comfort zone, you know where you are? You are a passenger on the Titanic that would rather go down with the Titanic, which is guaranteed, instead of jumping in a lifeboat, which is out of your comfort zone. That's what we're talking about here. So if you want to change who the you are and what you're doing, you need to change everything. You need to go for it. You need to jump. You need to learn this shit. Here's one for you. You want to do something for yourself? If you're married, go to a goddamn marriage counselor. And I know what you're saying to yourself. I don't need that. We've all been married. We understand what that's about. It's helpful to go talk to someone with the goddamn referee in the room that'll throw flags if one of you steps out of bounds. Go to someone and tell them you're sorry. Go to someone and tell them you love them. You go to someone, here's one for you. I use it all the time, and it scared the shit out of me at first. I can go up to Tom or Derek or anybody and go, man, I am proud of you. You say that to someone, and it will blow them away. I ask you to go to your employees tomorrow, or go to your son or daughter, and just say, I am really proud of you. For some reason, we feel like it's a goddamn weakness. You need to open up and be vulnerable. Let me just tell you one thing about vulnerability. The more vulnerability there is, the more courage there is. The reason why you're scared is because you don't have a guaranteed outcome. You don't know if you're going to say I love you to someone that they're going to say it back or not. This is the same thing about jumping in our group. It's scary as shit. Who likes to role play? Nobody at first.
Nobody.
Right now, this is how we get our kicks. Can you imagine that? You go from being scared shitless to this is truly how we get our kicks today, role playing. So, you know what? You decide whether you go for it, not go for it, can do it, can't do it. You're right. It's up to you.
But it's the practice. It's just the practice.
Yep. So since we're off script today, I have a couple other thoughts that I want to share with the listeners and have you guys weigh in as well. But the tendency right now when there's fear in the air and this and that is to shrink back. And we've been talking a lot in our group lately about living with an open chest, right? Opening our chest to the world, being, holding our heads high, really taking advantage of, okay, acknowledge the facts, okay? There's a virus, shitty economy, people are in fear. Those are the facts. We can do nothing about that. But what we can control is we can make a choice to see the opportunity in this. I shared the other day, I was listening to Andy Frisella's podcast. He was talking about the guy who founded Coca-Cola during World War II. They exploded because he saw the opportunity. Long story, go listen to it. But the point is seeing opportunities and hardship is not a skill that you're born with. It's a choice that you make. And that's what I want to really drive home here, guys, is if you're listening to this as a contractor, the majority of your competitors in your area, they are going to shrink back. They are going to let their chest sink in and their shoulders slump, and they're going to hide just that posture, mentally and physically. this is an opportunity as they're shrinking and we're stepping on the gas and 10xing our practice and our marketing and all these other things. It's going to fast track you to really dominating your area, your niche, whatever, through this economy. So right now, I want to encourage people to do not cut anything in your business that is not that is helping you put points on the board. Okay, so that's, if there's ever a time to get sales training, like think about this. And I know this sounds like a commercial for our program here. All right. And I will tell you this, if you're a contractor, I think this is the best program on the planet. I think you should join our program. However, I know we're not a fit for everybody. So if you don't want to join ours, join another sales training program. Here's why. You're going to have less leads to work with right now. Your time is going to be more valuable. When you have less at bats, you actually will hurt your business if you're discounting you get work. You'll need more leads, more sales to hit your break-even points. Whole long math equation I won't go into. All right. So the less leads you have, you actually have to sell at higher rates to recoup your break-even numbers, okay, and your overhead and all that. So sales training will teach you to do that. The other thing here, guys, it was probably even more important. We were all around for the last recession in business and stuff. And during these tough economies, you're going to start seeing articles on Angie's List and HGTV and all these other things going, how to get the best prices from your contractors now and how to do this now. And you know what I'm talking about. And if you thought consumers thought they had you by the nutsack before, when you're in a shit economy, they think that you're their little bitch even more. And sales training and handling these obstacles and objections and things like that is going to absolutely prepare you to be a better salesperson. So this is the time that you invest in marketing, you invest in how to sell and connect with people. And Derek was raising his hand, so you go ahead and say something.
It happened to me today.
Okay.
They wanted to negotiate. And the word she used was, we would really like to get this project done this year, but it looks like we're going to have to push it back to 2021. But if you're willing to work with us, we're ready to book now. So my sales training kicked in, and this was because they're two project managers, both husband and wife. And man, I will show you guys this. Jesus, like the amount of detail that they put into this, and I'm already turned off. So it's like, talking about selling like you don't give a shit. It's like, I don't even want the job now. So I'm absolutely not going to negotiate with you. So I responded and said, I think it makes sense that you go ahead and push this off to 2021 so that you can get everything that you want, because I'm not going to sacrifice that $2,200 or $2,400 in lighting. I'm just not going to. And little pause, they emailed me back because they're wanting to document all this stuff. And she can't believe that I even said that. And I said, you know what? I've got another option for you. I've learned this from you guys. I said, why don't we push this to August? So this is where the sales training comes in and being around winners like this. So we got customers now, they're going to try to negotiate with contractors if you don't have a sales process. So I'm going to give a couple of nuggets right here. I said, why don't we push this project into August? It's my slowest month. This is my busiest time of year, even with what stuff's going on. I've got plenty of leads coming in, so I'm not going to negotiate right now. But if I need to fill a spot in August, we could talk about that. So how about we push it back to August? And then like, no, we don't want to do it in August. We don't want to do it in August. And I was like, okay, cool. So we should probably do it now. So they finally emailed back and said, we'll go ahead and accept your terms. We'll go ahead and do the job now. And I had one more arrow in my quiver, one more that I did not use, but I'll share that with you. And I've learned this from Steve, is if they would have pushed and said August wasn't an option, I would have said, you know what? I'll give you a 10% discount if you pay me all cash up front right now. It's going to take trust. I'm 6 weeks out, but you got to pay me in all cash right now, because that's going to allow me opportunity to take that money and move some things around so I don't lose my profit margin and you get what you want. I didn't use that one, but that's something that I've learned from hanging out with you guys and hanging out in the group and all that. So it's not just, this is where I talk about the practice and the conversations. We teach Shin Fu and go through it, but there's other conversations, other contractors in this group where we have arrows in our quiver. But yes, it's going to happen. Just like you're saying, Tom, they're going to try to negotiate with you. And if you don't know what to say, you're going to.
Yeah, you're going to default to your highest level of training, right? It's that simple. And it's like to me, and I tell you what, here's a confession. I don't know if I would have said what I'm about to say a year ago. So this is how my mind has changed. I now view sales training as one of those things that's about as essential as breathing every day. You know, like I think there was a part of me, just admitting it here, that in years past I would maybe have more of the mindset of, yeah, it's a good idea to get some sales training and learn some tools, and then maybe you can hop in and out of it and some things like that. And the more I'm learning from you guys and from our community and my own business and life and this and that, I'm now going, not being in a sales training program. I don't care if you're a web designer, you're a realtor, you're a contractor, whatever it is. If you're not in a sales training program, it's about as ridiculous as a professional golfer not going to the range every day. It's as ridiculous as, you know, my son's in Marine Corps boot camp right now. It's as ridiculous as a Marine not going to the rifle range and practicing on a regular basis. Because that's the thing you do. Like, you shoot the enemy, you hit the golf ball. And if we're going to truly call ourselves a professional business person, salesperson, whatever, why the we ever have a moment in our career that we're not in sales training? That's where I'm at now.
So
Dan's an analogy coming up.
no, I was busy looking up quiver because I didn't know what the hell quiver meant.
It's for an arrow. It holds your arrows.
Yeah, I got that now.
Steve, we could see Steve on the screen. He's like Googling on his phone and shit. He's like, what the fuck's that mean?
But let me tell you, I was, as you guys know, but I'll tell the group, I was, for my first business, I was a millionaire by the time I was 30 years old. I'm 63 years old now. And I feel like I learned to truly sell when I was 55, 8 years ago. I started this whole process and I truly learned this. And it has given me the biggest boost of confidence. Now, I had a huge confidence level and an ego level in having multiple million-dollar businesses. But when I truly learned how to sell, it gave me the biggest boost of confidence, bigger than any other area in business, including my bank account. Because that boost of confidence translates into the rest of your life and into your life. I mean, I'll just tell you, these two guys that I'm talking to, Tom and Derek, at some point, you got to go, ta-da, I'm a coach. And if everybody's honest about that, you got to go, what makes me a coach? You got to step up into your own light, grow some balls, and say, I'm worth it, and I deserve to be where I am today. This sales ability gives you the confidence to be a different person. It really does. You can step up your game as a human being, truly, if you learn to sell, because all it really is learning how to speak to your fellow human beings. And I'll just tell you right here, these two guys I'm talking to now, we have probably one of the best trio relationships on this planet, because when we talk to each other, we get right to the real shit and we talk. And it's exactly the way we coach. It's exactly what we preach. And it's just the way we live. We're not Jimmy Swaggarts. You know, we eat our own cooking. And this whole sales technique just won't change your business. It will change your entire life.
It's communication. It's just how you, yes, it dropped the mic.
Mic drop. Yep.
It's just how you communicate. You reach a point when you practice and you practice and you practice and you practice that the words just come out of your mouth. You start mirroring, you start labeling, you understand empathy, you understand how to affirm someone, and you understand why you're doing it is to get the information so that you can help someone. And until you practice it, you don't know how to. You don't know how to help people. And it for the longest time, I was talking to Jared Shaw yesterday, and I don't know what I would do if I wasn't doing this. I would truly be lost, because for years, all I did was give unsolicited advice. And I would give unsolicited advice because I thought I was helping people. And it really wasn't helping because they didn't want to hear it, right? But now I'm understanding that I've learned how to be an active listener. I'm actually helping people by keeping my mouth shut.
Yeah.
They're feeling heard. And then when they feel heard, they trust you, as they should. And then I know what they need. And if I can help them, if I have that skill set, I can. And if not, now I understand what they need and I can get them in the direction where they need to go. So whether it's the sales, Contractor Sales Academy or Bridge, the way we do this, it carries over into my friends and my personal relationships going, damn, Steve, I heard exactly what you're saying. I can't help you, but I know this guy and he'll help you. Because I understand, well, maybe it's not even understanding. I just heard you and I know what you need.
So there was a guy in our group. I won't name him. I'm trying to find the text right now. We are, okay, here it is. I just found it. So this guy was literally messaging us to leave our program a week and a half ago because he was feeling the crunch, right? I mean, we've all, raise your hand. You guys can't all see us, but raise your hand if you felt the crunch in any way in the last couple of weeks, right? There's a part of us, the three of us here, that have felt a little bit, you know, to one degree or another, you know, something, just like everybody else. We're human. So this guy messaged our team behind the scenes, like, hey, I need to cancel my memberships. He's in 2 of our programs here. No. And I don't know what happened. I think he put a message in the group basically saying he was going to be leaving and times are tight and this and that. The group totally rallied around this guy. And within 3 days, let me just read this. He says within 3 days, he sold $125,000 at a 50% margin. And then I got another message for him saying, basically he sold another couple projects, close to 30 grand or so. So in like 3-4 days, he rallied himself out of this situation and had the biggest sales week of his life, he said, at $155,000 worth of sales. He's like a one-man operation. You know, he subs a couple things out, whatever, and does some work himself. And in other messages, he's like, so the main message I was going to read here was, he said, I'm so happy I believed in you guys and myself. And I really want to, the reason I bring this up is this was the community. This is when wasn't Tom, Steve, and Derek. Yeah, we have an influence. We come on and we coach and we do what we got to do, blah, blah, blah. But I'm most proud of the relationships that I'm seeing people have and really having each other's backs. And the really cool thing that we've been able to build and develop here is a place where you are safe to be who you are. You are safe to share your struggles. I mean, Steve, I remember it was either last summer or the summer before. You know, here's Steve, multimillionaire, all this other stuff. Steve, you got on our page, and actually on one of our webinars, I don't know if you remember this, and you guys, I got to come clean. I'm kind of freaking out because I haven't sold anything in like 32 days. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah,
but it's
last year.
Yeah, it was like last summer or whatever it was, or whatever the stretch of time was. And because of that, when the guy who's leading this thing is going, yeah, I'm in a total month-long slump, I'm feeling it too, it sets the tone for everybody else in the group to be okay with struggling. And so I'm sharing this with people that, yeah, you got the scripts and the word tracks and all the techniques and all this other garbage, but the secret sauce, I think, to what is going on in the Bridge and our other programs is 100% the community. It's the relationships. It's that you know you're not alone. You're not on an island. And if you're willing to be open and honest, you're going to find that there's going to be several hundred people that have your back.
And let's leave it like this, because this has been a long ass podcast. But I don't think in my lifetime there's a more important time to be part of a positive community than today.
Yeah.
I mean, we're living in the middle of a nightmare movie. You know, it's called pandemic. It's called virus. It's called, we've each in our lifetime, we've seen a half a dozen movies like this where the whole world dies because we get a virus. And we're like, ha, 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 that's all just science fiction. Jesus Christ, there's 50 million Americans out of work over the last 2 weeks. This is a time to be around a bunch of FWs. Tell them what a FW is.
The winner.
If you like this, Tom, close us out. You do that better than anybody.
Well, Steve, you just hit it on the head. Most important thing right now for your business and for you and where you want to go and your family and this and that is a community. You got to have a community. And, you're going to get the support you need and this and that and what we got going on here. There's no higher touch program on the planet of the way our team is involved in everybody's life who's a member and the way we reach out and the efforts we go through to make sure your needs are met. So if you're on the fence, get over to contractorsalesacademy.com, give us a rating, share this with another contractor, and get rid of that head trash. There's never going to be a better time to learn how to do the process that we're talking about. It's never going to be more accepted by the public. It's never going to be more accepted by other contractors. This is going to be the new normal. It already is. And with that, we'll catch you guys next time on the Contractor Sales Academy podcast.